Your toddler is staring at nothing. No toys in hand, no show playing, just quiet. Most parents feel the urge to fix this immediately. But there's something important happening. One of the most powerful brain networks in your child's mind only switches on when you stop. The research is clear. Children who get regular unstructured time build stronger self-control, more creativity, and better emotional regulation. And the kids in overscheduled lives show the opposite pattern. Here's what happened to get us here. Between 1981 and 2003, children lost about 12 hours a week of free play, over 50% of what kids had a generation before. Today, toddlers spend roughly 2 hours a day on screens. A whole industry of flashcards, music classes, and educational apps has built itself on one message: every quiet moment is a wasted one. Enrich more, stimulate more, optimize every afternoon, and the guilt lands heavy. You're not doing enough, the message goes. The problem is that neuroscientists have been mapping what actually happens in a child's brain when nothing external is happening. And what they're finding changes everything. It turns out that quiet is not the absence of learning. It's where some of the most important learning actually occurs. And most parents have never heard about it because nobody's selling it. Here's what I want to walk you through. You've probably been told that more stimulation equals more learning, that the good parent is the one running the enrichment schedule. The brain science actually points in the opposite direction. Your child's most important developmental work happens when external stimulation stops. And there are 3 things that make this true. And once you see them, the picture gets clear. First, there's a specific brain network that only activates at rest. Second, kids who have more unstructured time actually show better self-regulation and executive function than kids who are constantly scheduled. And third, the simplest change you can make this week is also the most research-backed one. Let me walk you through each piece. Let's start with the first one, the brain network most parents have never heard of. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Marcus Reichel put adults into a brain scanner and told them to rest. He expected the brain to quiet down. Instead, something unexpected happened. A whole different set of regions lit up: the medial prefrontal cortex, the posterior cingulate cortex, parts of the memory system. Not quieter, different, active in a particular way. He called it the default mode network. And here's what surprised him most. This network is where some of the most important cognitive work happens. It's where the brain consolidates what it learned today into long-term memory. It's where imagination lives, where your sense of who you are gets woven together, where the ability to understand what someone else is thinking develops. It's also where children rehearse future scenarios, work through emotional experiences they don't yet have words for, and make the creative leaps that might look like simple play from the outside, but are actually some of the most sophisticated thinking the developing brain does. In the beautiful phrase of neuroscientist Mary Helen Imordino-Yang, rest is not idleness. It's when the deepest learning occurs. Now here's the part that changes everything. This network is still wiring itself in young children. It only activates when external stimulation goes quiet. So when your toddler is watching a show, playing an app, being led through an activity, this network is offline. The moment they stop, the moment they stare out the window or poke at a stick or lie on the grass looking at the sky, it comes online. Which means the nothing you've been trying to avoid is precisely when the most important something is actually happening. That's the hopeful part. But there's a second part, and it's the one that makes this research land differently once parents really see it. It's what's happening in children whose default mode network barely gets a chance to run. So on to the second piece, what the data actually shows about overscheduled children. In 2014, developmental psychologist Jane Barker at the University of Colorado ran a study on 76-year-old children. She measured how much of each child's week was structured: music lessons, sports practices, tutoring, adult-led activities, versus how much was unstructured: open-ended, child-directed play. Then she measured something called self-directed executive function. That's the ability to set your own goals, plan how to reach them, and pursue them. It's the core of being a capable, independent human. The finding was stark. Clear, unambiguous. The more time a child spent in unstructured activities, the stronger their self-directed executive function. The more structured time, the weaker. Structure isn't neutral. The data suggests it trades off against the very capacity that parents say they most want their children to develop, the ability to think for themselves and direct their own learning. And follow-up research keeps landing in the same place. Children in high-enrichment schedules show higher baseline stress, lower intrinsic motivation, and poorer self-regulation when they start school. So the intuition that more activities equals a better child isn't just overstated. For the capacities that matter most, self-control, goal setting, intrinsic motivation, the research suggests it actually points backwards. And the third piece, what you can actually do this week. Here's where this gets practical and immediate. First, schedule one unscheduled afternoon this week. No classes, no devices, no adult-led activity, just your child, a safe space, and time. Outside is ideal, but a living room corner works. A cardboard box, a pile of plain blocks. The specifics don't matter. What matters is space without direction. Second, when they say, "I'm bored," resist the urge to rescue them. The reflex is to offer a solution, to fix the discomfort. Try this instead. That's okay. Sometimes your brain does its best work when it feels bored. That sentence is more true than it might sound. Boredom is a gateway state. It's where self-initiated play begins, where imagination gets to move. When you rescue them from it every time, you're also rescuing them from the thing their brain actually needs. Third, model it. Let them see you not scrolling, not doing, not optimizing. Reading by the window, sitting with a cup of coffee, staring at nothing. Kids are always watching what matters to their parents, and if what they see most often is someone whose attention is somewhere else, always on task, always productive, they learn that being human means never stopping. Let them see what rest looks like. And fourth, when an idea does emerge from the quiet, a made-up game, a pile of rocks, a story that doesn't quite have a plot, let them lead it. Don't steer it. Don't improve it. Don't add educational value. That messy, unstructured play is where the actual wiring happens. Alison Gopnik, a developmental psychologist at UC Berkeley, has a distinction that lands differently once you hear it. The carpenter builds to a plan. She measures, cuts, joins, and delivers a specific outcome. The gardener creates conditions: good soil, sun, water, protection from harm, and then lets the plant become what it's going to be. Your toddler's brain is a garden, not a cabinet. And one of the most important conditions for its growth is the thing you've been told to fear. Quiet, open, unstructured time with nothing in particular to do. That's not a failure of enrichment. That's the soil. That's the condition. Once you see this, the guilt about not doing enough starts to lift. You're not neglecting them. You're giving them the conditions. And the research is very clear that those conditions are one of the few things you can offer that actually predicts who they become. So here's the reframe in full. You've been told that more stimulation is better. The research shows the opposite. There's a specific brain network that only activates when external stimulation stops. Kids with more unstructured time develop stronger self-regulation. And the simplest intervention, doing less, is one nobody sells you, but everyone needs. Your toddler's brain is a garden, not a cabinet. And boredom, the thing you've been told to prevent, is where the most important wiring actually happens. Save this one for this next rainy Saturday. Send it to a friend who's been caught in the overscheduling cycle. If this made something click for you, hit like. It genuinely helps other parents find this channel. And if you want more of the brain science behind raising small humans, subscribe. We post a new episode every week. Next episode, why your toddler isn't ignoring you, even when it really feels like they are. Spoiler, their brain literally can't hear you yet. The neuroscience of selective attention explains why.